Yes, good evening everyone. Please turn on your camera before I start the class. Fine. So guys, today we are going to continue with the same chapter, that is relations and functions, which we have studied in the last class. Okay. So I hope you guys remember whatever we have done in the last class. I will still repeat whatever we have done. See, what is relations? I have told you. Okay. So this is a cross product. Sorry, it is, if it is A related to B, then we write it in this way. And also I have told you what is reflexive, what is symmetric, and what is transitive, right, in the last class. I'll still repeat whatever I have told you. See, if 1 comma 2 comma 3 belongs to the relation, sorry, if in a set A 1 comma 2 comma 3 are the elements, right, and after that, if you have a relation where 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, all such pairs are there in the relation. Okay, then such type of relations are called reflexive relation. Next, now if suppose if 1 comma 2 comma 3 element is there in the set A, and you are given with a relation where 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1, that is the reciprocal, means 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1, if any one pair, if you find such there, at that time what you can say, that the relation is symmetric. Also, if you find any such pair like 1 comma 3 and 3 comma 1 is there in the relation, then also you can say that the relation is symmetric. Fine. And the next thing is, let's what is transitive. Now to check whether the relation is transitive or not, what you have to do, if suppose 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 are there in the set A, and if your relation is given by 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 3 and 1 comma 3, this all elements are there in the relation. That means, see, if A comma B and B comma C are there in the relation, then A comma C should be also there in the relation. Only then we can say that the given relation is transitive. Okay, how we can say it is transitive? That is, if 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 3 is there, if 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 3 is there, then 1 comma 3 should also be there in the relation. Only then we can say that the given relation is transitive. I hope this is clear. Is this clear, guys? This was just a revision of whatever you have done in the last class. You can type in yes or no in the chat box, guys. Or also what you can do is, yeah, very good, Sneha and Nisha, very good. So let's continue with it. We have done some sums in the last class. We'll now take the next sums which we have done up to question number 8 in the last class. Now we'll take the next question. Just a moment. I'll take the question number 9. Now see over here what is given. Show that each of the relation are in the set A. Okay, show that each of the relation are in the set A where x belongs to z. Z means integers. Okay, where x will belonging to integers, and it lies between 0 to 12, given by, and the relation is given by this. You have to prove that it is an equivalence relation, and you also have to find the set of all elements related to 1 in each case. Fine, that we will do it later on. Now see what is given. First of all, whatever set A is given, let us write. Set A is what? The set of all x where x belongs to z, such that x lies between 0 to 12, where x is equals to 0 and 12 also. Therefore, this is what the roster format. Sorry, this is the set builder format. Now we will write the set in the roster format also. In the roster format, what you will have? See, x lies from 0 to 12, and x are integers only. So what all values you will have? That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So all these numbers will be there in the set A. Okay. Now what is given? Now what relation they have given? The first relation which they have given, you have to prove that the given relation is an equivalence relation. So what relation they have given? The relation is the set of all A comma B such that modulus of A minus B is a multiple is a multiple of 4. Okay, now you have to prove this, whether now you have to prove that given relation is is an equivalence relation. Now when we can say that the given relation is an equivalence relation, when the relation is reflexive, transitive, as well as symmetric. If all these three are valid, then you can say the given relation is reflexive, right? Now, over here what they have given, relation is given by a comma the set of all comma a comma b, such that modulus of a minus b is a multiple of 4, right? So as you can see, if I write 0 comma 0, is that belonging to the relation? We can say, can I say 0 comma 0, since 0 comma 0 belongs to the relation, yes or no? Does it belongs? See, if I put the value of a, and it will belong to, see, 4 into 0 is also 0. 0 comes in the 4 into 0 is 0, and 4 into 1 is 4. So 0 comes in the table of 4, but when 4 into 0 is 0. Okay, so if I write 0 comma 0, what I will get, modulus value, that is 0 minus 0, and whatever the answer you get, that is 0. Now that value is a multiple of 4. Yes, 4 into 0 you will get 0, right? Now even I can say 1 comma 1 also belongs to the relation. So similarly, all the values you can say, for all a comma a belongs to your relation, right? For any value of a over here, it for all values of a comma a belongs to the given relation. Therefore the given relation is reflexive. Guys, is this clear? Please type yes or no in the chat box. Is this clear? Okay, Sneha. And see, it is not 1 into 1. See, it is 1 minus 1. See, if I write 1 comma 1, so as per the relation, if I solve, see what is given as per the relation. The value of 1 comma 1, if I take it over here, it will be 1 minus 1, and that value will be 0, and that value 0 is a multiple of 4. Yes or no? Are you getting it? If I write 2 comma 2 also, if I write 2 comma 2, this also belongs to the relation. Why? Because if I write 2 over here and 2 over here, 2 minus 2 is 0, modulus of 0 is 0, and 0 is a multiple of 4. So all such values are multiple of 4. Are you getting it? Okay, fine, Nisha. Okay, fine. Okay, so all such values will belong to the relation. That's why we can say the given relation is reflexive. Now let us check for symmetric. Okay, so this is our given relation. If I take any values 0 comma 1, let us say 0 comma, what will be there, is a multiple of 4, you have to prove, right? Now see, if I take any, I need only one pair to be reflexive and transitive, right? Now I can say 0 comma 4, 0 comma 4 belongs to the relation, yes or no? If I write the value of a as 0 and the value of b as 4, 0 minus 4 is minus 4, and modulus of minus 4 is 4, and that 4 is multiple of 4, right? I can say 0 comma 4 belongs to the relation, and 4 comma 0 also belongs to the relation. I need only one pair. Now I have got this one pair where a comma b and b comma a both belongs to the relation. Therefore I can say, therefore the given relation is symmetric. Is this clear, guys? Please type. I need only one pair to prove that it is symmetric or transitive. But for reflexive, what you have to prove? You need to prove that all such elements will belong to the relation. Okay, very good. Now, the next, let us check for transitivity of the relation. If I say I need only one pair, right? Um, if I say 2 comma 6 belongs to the relation, and 6 comma 10 belongs to the relation. Then 2 comma 10, yes. See, if I write, if 2 comma 6 belongs to the relation, and 6 comma 2, not 6 comma 2, sorry, 6 comma 10 belongs to the relation. Now to check the transitivity, what you need, 2 comma 10 should be belong to the relation, so only then it will be transitive. Also 2 comma 10 belong to the relation. See, if I put the value of a and b as 2 and 10, right, 2 and 10, 2 minus 10 is how much? Minus 8, and modulus of minus 8 is 8. Now 8 is also a multiple of 4, right? Now what you got, see, if 2 comma 6 is belongs to the relation, and 6 comma 2 and 10 belongs to the relation, then 2 comma 10 should belong to the relation. Only then we can say that the given relation is transitive. But we, as you can see, 2 comma 10 belongs to the relation, therefore what we can say, therefore the given relation is what? Transitive. Is this clear, guys? Please type yes or no in the chat box. Okay, okay, very good, very good, very good, guys. Now the next one is also the same thing. See, if now we have proved that it is reflexive, we have proved that it is symmetric, we have also proved that it is transitive. Therefore what we can say, since the given relation since the given relation is reflexive, symmetric, as well as and transitive, okay, and transitive, therefore the given relation is equivalence relation. Clear, guys? Is this clear completely? See, whenever the relation is reflexive, symmetric, as well as transitive, at that time we can say that the given relation is equivalence relation. I hope this is completely clear. Chalo, very good, very good. Now the next. Now see, in the next sum also it is the same. What they have given, the relation what they have given, the set of all a comma b such that a is equals to b, right? If a is equals to b, so if I write 2 comma 2, does it belongs to the relation? Yes. 3 comma 3, does it belongs to the relation? Yes. So all such pair will belong to the relation, therefore I can say that the given relation is reflexive, right? Even if I say a is equals to b, right? Yeah. So similarly, if I want to prove that it is symmetric, uh, for symmetric, hmm, yeah, see, it is symmetric only because, see, if I write 2 comma 2, and then 2 comma 2 also will belong to the relation, right? So if I cannot write 2 is equals to 3, because this will not belong to the relation. So if I write 2 comma 2, then 2 comma 2 will also belong, therefore we can say that the given relation is symmetric. Also, if I write a is equals to b and b is equals to c, then I can also write a is equals to c. See, if I write a is equals to b and b is equals to c, I can also write a is equals to c. That means if a comma b belongs to the relation and b comma c belongs to the relation, then I can say a comma c also belongs to the relation. Therefore the given relation is equivalence relation. I hope you guys can solve this. Yeah, fine. Now let's go to the next question which we have. Just a moment. Guys, if you have any doubt, you can ask your doubt By raising your hand, you will get unmuted and then you can ask your doubts. Fine. So if you have any doubt, what you have to do, you just have to raise your hands, or you can type in the chat box that I have a doubt. Then you can ask your doubt and get clarified. Okay. Now the next. Show that the relation in the set A of a point in a plane given by this. Now what they have given, the relation given, that is P comma Q, where the set P comma Q, where P is what distance of point P from the origin is same as the distance of the point Q from the origin. Now this is what the relation they have given is an equivalence relation you have to prove. Further show that the set of all points related to the point P where P is not equals to 0 comma 0 is a circle passing through P with origin as center. Fine. Let us try to prove this. Just a moment. See what they have given. Show that the given relation is a set of in a set A of a point in a plane given by relation C. So your relation is given by the set of all P comma Q such that, now what they have given, distance of the point P from the origin is same as the distance of the point Q from the origin. Right? So distance of P and distance of Q should be same and is an equivalence relation you have to prove. Now show that the relation R in a set A of a point in a plane given by. Now see, if I take any point, now suppose if this is my x and y axis and this is my origin, right? If I take distance of the, now what is the relation? Distance of the point P from the origin is same as the distance of the point Q from the origin. If P is the point, let us say, can I say the distance of point P from the origin is same as the distance of P from the origin? Can I say P comma P belongs to the relation? Yes, because see, you just have to relate the same element with itself. The distance of point P from the origin is same as the distance of point P from the origin. If I say the same thing, that is P comma P belongs to the relation, it will satisfy, right? Therefore, so all such points for all values of P comma P belongs to the relation. Therefore, the given relation is reflexive. Now the next is to prove symmetric and transitive. Now if I say P is the point which is P is the distance of point P from the origin is same as the distance of Q from the origin, and can I also say distance of Q from the origin is same as the distance of P from the origin, right? If I say if P comma Q belongs to the given relation, that means what is the given relation? The distance of point P from the origin is same as the distance of Q from the origin. Can I also say the distance of Q from the origin is same as the distance of P from the origin? That means, therefore, Q comma P also belongs to the relation. Therefore, what I can say? Therefore, the given relation is is what? Symmetric. Is symmetric. Next. Now, if I say there is another point PQR, if I say the distance of the point P from the origin is same as the distance of Q from the origin, and I will also say the distance of Q from the origin is same as the distance of R from the origin. So can I say the distance of P from the origin is same as the distance of R from the origin? Yes, I can say if P is if this OP and OQ are equal and OQ and OR are equal, then OP and OR is also equal, right? So what I can write, if P comma Q belongs to the relation and Q comma R belongs to the relation, then P comma R belongs to the relation. Therefore, the given relation is transitive. Is this clear, guys? Please type yes or no in the chat box. Is this clear? Okay, Nisha, and okay, very good, everyone. Fine. Now let's go to the next question. So this is how you just have to compare the elements by itself first, then by you have to just replace them, and then a, if p is belongs to the q, p belongs to the relation, q belongs to the relation, p comma q belongs to the relation, then q comma r belongs to the relation. If p comma r also belongs to the relation, you can say that the given relation is transitive. Simple. Fine. Now let's go to the next one. Now the further all the problems are almost same, I will say. See, I'll give you some examples. So if I give this 14th as the question, if I take this is also the same thing. See, let L be the set of all lines in xy plane, okay, and R be the relation in L defined as, where L be the set of all lines in the xy plane, means L is what, the set of all lines in the xy plane, and after that they have given the relation R is given by L1 comma L2, the set of all L1 comma L2 such that L1 is parallel to L2. Show that the relation is an equivalence relation. See, if I have any one line over here, this is L1 and this is L2. Can I say L1 is parallel to L1 itself? Can I say L2 is parallel to L2 itself? I can say that, right? So what I can say, L1 comma L1 belongs to the relation, also L2 comma L2 also belongs to the relation, right? What I can say, since L1 comma L1 belongs to the relation, why? Because what is the relation between L1 and L1? See, L1 is parallel to L1, I will have to write. Obviously, it is parallel, right? Also, I can say L2 comma L2. So line 2 and line 2 is also parallel to themselves, right? So that is also belongs to the relation. Then what I can say, I have taken all the elements, therefore the given relation is, reflexive. Fine. Therefore the given relation is reflexive. Now, can I also say if L1 is parallel to L2, can I also say L2 is parallel to L1? Can I say this? Yes, guys, if I say L1 is parallel to L2, can I say L2 is parallel to L1? Obviously, we can say that if L1 is parallel to L2, then L2 is parallel to L1. So what I can say, since L1 comma L2 belongs to the relation and L2 comma L1 also belongs to the relation, therefore the given relation is what, guys? The given relation is what? Therefore the given relation is what? Symmetric. Very good. The given relation is symmetric. Fine. Next, if I say L1 is parallel to L2 and L2 is parallel to L3, if L1 is parallel to L2 and L2 is parallel to L3, can I say L1 is parallel to L3 also? Yes, I can say. Therefore the given relation is transitive also. So if I can write over here, if L1 comma L2 belongs to the relation and L2 comma L3 also belongs to the relation, then L1 comma L3 belongs to the relation. Therefore, the given relation is transitive. Now, since all of them were existing, since what we can write, since the given relation is reflexive, transitive, and symmetric, therefore the given relation is equivalence relation. Is this clear, guys? Please type in the chat box yes or no. Okay, next, what they have given, show that Rn is an equivalent relation. We have showed this. Find the set of all lines related to the line y is equals to 2x plus 4. Now you have to write the set of all lines related to this. Means it should be parallel to this. See, what is the line which is parallel to this line? The 4 is not constant, so it can be any constant. 4 y is equals to 2. See, if the slope is equal, y is equals to mx plus c, where m is what? The slope of the line. So if in this 2 is the slope of the line, that should not change. Y is equals to 2x plus c, 2x plus k. If I write for this line also, all such type of lines will be parallel to this given line, right? So I can say, to find the set of all lines, it will be a relation where it will be the constant is replaced with k instead of a number constant, right? Then this number, then this is, therefore, what you can write, therefore, what we have written over there, just a moment, therefore y is equals to 2x plus k, therefore y is equals to 2x minus k, it should be, yeah, 2x minus 2x plus k is the general form of the equation, the equation of line related to the line is line related to the line y is equals to how much? 2x plus k. I hope this is clear. Yeah. Now the next one. 14th is done. So guys, over here, let R be the relation in the subset. In the set 1 comma t comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, given by the relation they have given, choose the correct answer. R is reflexive and symmetric but not transitive. What it is exactly? You can try to solve it in your notebook and give the answer, guys. I'll give you some time to solve this. Okay, please think on it and give the answer. I'll be back in a moment. Yes, guys, can you identify? Nisha Lohar is saying option B. Okay. And Sneha is also saying option B. Okay. Okay. Fine. Guys, your answer is right. Your answer is right. That is, it is reflective, transitive, but not symmetric. Why it is not symmetric? Let the R in the relation in the set A is given by. See, there is nothing like the relation is given, but 1 comma 2 is there, 2 comma 1 is not there. 2 comma 1 comma 3 is there, but 3 comma 1 is not there. 3 comma 2 is there, but you don't have 2 comma 3, right? So you don't have anything like symmetric, so that's why the answer B is right. Perfect, very good. As you can see, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3. If suppose if this 3 comma 3 is not there in the given relation, can I say that the given relation is reflexive? Why I can't say that the given relation is not reflexive? Nisha, you are saying that it is not, it won't be reflexive. Then can you tell me why it won't be reflexive? I'll unmute you. You can unmute and give the answer. Yes, Nisha.
Yes, sir, because you said earlier that it should apply to all the elements which is in the set
Yes,
R.
yes, yes. Very good, very good. So it applies to all the elements. If 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 is there, so all the elements, that is 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3 and 4 comma 4, all of them should be there. Only then it is reflexive, otherwise it is not. But in case of symmetric and transitive, you only need one pair. Even if one pair is there, you can say it is symmetric as well as transitive. Chalo, very good. Now let's go ahead. Now this is the last sum. This is also a very easy sum. I think you should be able to give the answer of this. Yes. Now, you guys can give the answer in the chat box. What is given? Let R be the relation in the set N given by, where relation is given by the set of all A comma B, where A is equals to B minus 2 and B is greater than 6. Then choose the correct answer. Which pair will belong to the relation? Yes. Please try to give the answer. A, B, C or D. It's very easy, I will say. You can choose the correct pair. Yes, can you answer? Or is it you can't answer? Okay, Nisha has raised her hand. Yes, Nisha, do you want to say anything? If you want to say anything, you just have to raise your hands, guys, by using the more option which is there. Guys, if you can't answer, can you please type? Can you, if you can't answer, can you please type can't solve or unable to solve or your what it is exactly? Can you give the answer of this? Okay, Nisha, fine. Okay, you are saying might be C. Nisha is saying might be C. Okay, what about rest of the students? Fine. See, since I have not got the answer from all of them, now I'll give you the example. See, what they have given the relation is the set of all A comma B such that A is equals to B minus 2 and B is greater than 6. This is the given relation. Suppose if I say 2 comma 4 belongs to the relation. See, if I keep the value of A as 2 and B as 4, so if it is 4 minus 2 and the value of A is 2, yes, this is getting satisfied. But B should be greater than 6, no? But the value of B is 4, so that this is not getting satisfied. So this value will not belong to the relation, right? So this will not be there. This is not there. Next, see, it should be greater than 6. So let's try for this. If I say let, you can say let 3 comma 8 belongs to the relation, then as per the given condition, if a is equals to 3, okay, then b is equals to what? See, b is equals to 8. If a is equals to 3 and b is equals to 8, then 8 minus 3 is not equals to 3. Are you getting it? Therefore 3 comma 8 does not belongs to the relation. That means second one is also Wrong. Okay, if I put 6, see, if I put 6 and the value of b is greater than 8, yes, this is true. And if I do 8 minus 2, that is 6, and this is also true. So both the values are both this are getting satisfied. That means c belongs to the relation, and 8 comma 7 does not belongs. Why? Because if I do 7 minus 2, I will get 5, and that is not getting equal with a. That's why it will not belong to the relation. So that's why this is also false. So is this clear, guys? Please type yes or no in the chat box. Okay, Nisha, and what about rest of the students? Okay, Sneha, very good. Okay, fine, chalo, very nice. Now let's go to the next question. Now the next thing is we are done with the relations. Okay, now the next thing is functions. Functions and its type. Now this is very important to identify whether the given set is a function or not. Now I hope you guys remember, okay, how to identify a function or not. See, if I give you this is my set A and this is my set B, okay, and if I give you over here, these are the elements, okay, A, B, C, and these are also the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and I give the relation over here like this. A is related to 1, A is related to 3, B is related to 1, and C is related to 4. Can I say that the given is relation is a function? Yes. You can answer in the chat box yes or no. Can I say that the given relation is a function or not a function? Or maybe it is like you don't know. You see, you have studied relations and functions in the class level. Okay, you're saying it is a function, you think. No, it is not a function. Why it is not a function? Because over here, see, the problem is A is related with 1 as well as, and A is also related with 3. So if the input is A, I'm getting output as 1 as well as 3. So there is a problem. Fine. So in such case, it will not be a function. Now how to do this properly? See, I'll give you how we can do it. If you consider this elements as child and this as woman, then it will be very clear to you. Okay, if suppose if this are child and this are woman, A is a child of 1, okay, and B is also a child of 1. Is this possible? Can A and B both can be a child of 1? Is this possible? Because a mother can have two childs. That is possible, right? But if I say B is a child of 3 also, then there is a problem. A child cannot have two mothers. A child will have only one mother always, right? So that's why if such type of relation is there, then it will not be a function. So this is fine. And I can also say if this is there, then also I can say this is a relation. Okay, a, a woman can have one child, two childs, or no child. That is also fine. Okay, so over here you can see that it is a function. Suppose there is one more d over here, then can I say it is a function? No, then I cannot say that it is a function because this child does not has any mother, right? If a child does not has any mother, then there is a problem, then it is not a function. See why I'm giving this child and woman, because to understand and to remember. Are you getting it? Yes, please type in the chat box. Yeah, very good. So why I'm giving this child and woman example? Just to understand and to remember. Yeah, Nisha, what is that? So is it that all the elements of A should connect to only one element of set B? Is it that element of A should connect to only one element of? Yes, yes, it is like that. It should connect only one element in the set B. See, for one output there should be only one output. For one input there should be one output. Okay, single input should not give two outputs. A single child will not have two women as their mother. A child will have only one mother, one and only one mother, right? His real mother, I'm saying. It is only about the real mother. There are many aunties and all, everything is there, that's fine, they are also like mother and all, but I'm only talking about the real mother. So a child will have only one mother. Two childs can have one mother, three childs can have one mother. But if a child does not has, then there is a problem, then also it is not a function. Is this clear? Now I will draw some pattern over here. You have to tell me whether it is a function or not. Is it a function? Yes. Why? Why it is not a function? Why it is not a function, guys? Okay, chalo, I'll give some. Nisha, can you give the answer why it is not a function?
Yes, sir, because the element A of the set 1 is not connected to any other element of B.
Yes, very good, very good, very good. So I hope you are remembering everything as per the child and woman. Yes, Nisha? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Chalo, very good. Now, if I say, is this a function? Can I say this as a function? Please type in the chat box, guys. Very good, very good. That's right. It is a function. Now, if I write like this, there is one more element. Is it a function? Very good. It is also a function. That is fine because two child can have one mother. That is fine. Now to identify whether it is a function or not a function, you have understood. Now there are types of function. The first one is one function. Now what will be there in one function? A single element in set A will be related to the single element in set B. Means one child, if one child has only, means all the women will have only one child. At that time the given relation is 1 1. So at that time the given function is 1 1 function. Okay. So if I write a set like this, okay, is it a 1 1 function? Actually it is not even a function. Why? Because A has two mothers, so that is not fine. Okay. Now is it a function? Is it a 1 1 function? It is not a 1 1 function also because a single mother has two child. Then there is a problem. If I write like this, is it a 1 1 function? Very good. So this is what your 1 1 function. That is every mother will have one child. Okay. This over here you can say this is what your woman and this is the child. Okay, now this is one function. Now the next, what is many one function? With the word you can understand what it is. Can you guys tell me what is one function? A mother has how many child? It can have many, more than one. Very good, very good, more than one. If a mother has more than one child, you can say it is a many one function. If I draw like this, okay, and this is the child and this is the mother, okay, and if this is A B C, this is P Q R S, okay, so this is there, this is also associated with this, and this is also associated with this, okay. At that time you can say it is many one function. Even if R is there, that is also fine, okay. This is many one function. Now the next is onto function. Okay, do you know about this onto functions? I hope you guys have studied this in the class 11th. Do you know or not? Do you know what is onto functions? No. Fine. Now see, what is onto function? See, it should be a function, and when you can say it is an onto function, then there should be no woman where she does not has any child. Means if in the set B all the women has one or the other child, then we can say that the function is onto. Suppose A is associated with P, means A is a child of P, B is a child of Q, C is a child of S, and D is a child of R. Now as you can see that all the women has one or the other child, right? One child or two child, that is also fine. But every woman has some child. At that time we can say the given function is onto function. If there is PQRS, suppose there is one more woman T over here, and T does not has any child, at that time what we will say, the given function is not onto. Is that clear, guys? Did you understood how to identify onto function? Very good. That's it. So in an onto function, this is an onto function, but if there is nothing, if there is any other woman who does not has child, at that time what we will say, it is not an onto function. Fine. So these are the three types of functions which you need to know. Okay, whether it is a function or not. The first thing which you should know is whether it is a function or not a function. After once you know it is a function, it is which type of function? One function, many one function, or onto function. I hope this is clear. Chalo. Now I'll take some diagrams from your textbook. You guys tell me whether it is onto one or what it is exactly. If I draw it over here, let me take them separately. Just a moment, guys. Now, fine. Now I'll write over here. First is one, next is many one, and then other one is onto. Okay. Now, you guys tell me whether the given function over here, whatever is there diagram, is it a one function? Very good. It is a one function because every child has one mother. and one mother has one child. Okay, can I say it is a many one function? If it is a one one, it cannot be a many one. The next, is it an onto function? Very good. It is not an onto function because you can see there are two women who does not has child, right? So it is not an onto function. Now the next. Now you guys tell me for this, is it a one one function? Is it a one one function? Nisha, no, it is not a one one function because 1 and 2 both are the child of B. So one mother has two childs over here. So it is not a one one function. And if it is not a one one function, it will be a many one function. Next, is it an onto function? Yes, it is not an onto function. Why? Because E and F and A does not has any child. That means it is not an onto function. The function will be onto only if all of them, all the women have one or the other child. Okay. The next, is it a one one function? It's not a one one function. Very good. If it is not, it is many one function. Now can I say it is an onto function? Very good. I can say it is an onto function. Very nice. Now the next, can I say it is a one one function? Very good. Yes, it is a one one, so it is not many one. Can I say it is an onto function? Very good. It is an onto function also. Fine. Okay. Now one more thing is remaining. Just a moment, guys. Yeah. One more thing is I've forgot to tell you. One one functions are also called injective functions. This is an other name of one one function. What they are called? They are also called injective functions. And many one function is the only one name. And for onto functions are also called surjective functions. Okay, what we say, one one function as injective and onto function as surjective. And one more thing is, if a function is injective as well as surjective, then the function is called as bijective function. What I've said, I'll write it over here. If the function, if the function is injective as well as surjective, just a moment, let me check. Yeah, if the function is injective as well as surjective, then it is a bijective function. It is a bijective function. What we can say, if the function is injective as well as surjective, what we can say that the given function is bijective function. Okay, now you guys tell me from over here which one is bijective, first, second, third, or fourth? Injective means 1 1 and surjective means onto. Very good, both of you are right. The fourth one is onto as well as, it is onto as well as sorry, it is injective as well as surjective. That's why we can say it is a bijective function. It is a bijective function. When the function is 1 1 as well as onto, at that time we can say that the given function is bijective function. I hope this is clear. Now you guys type in the chat box whether you have understood. Can you identify it as a function, it has a 1 1 function, it has a many one function, onto function, injective function, surjective function, and bijective function. Is this clear? Please type clear in the chat box. Okay, very good. Now let's go ahead. The next thing which we have, uh, we'll directly go to the exercise. Fine. Now let us start with the exercise which we have. Okay. Now over here, show that the function, now what they have given, the function r star to r star defined by f of x. The relation is given, the function is given by f of x is equals to 1 by x is a 1 1 and onto. You have to prove that it is a 1 1 as well as onto function, where r star is a set of all non-zero real numbers. What is r star? R star is a set of all non-zero real numbers. Is the result true? Now from here there is a next question. First we will solve the first question, whatever they have given. The relation, what the function they have given, the function is from r star to r star. Okay, I will draw two diagrams over here like this, and after, and your f of x, your function f of x is equals to 1 by x. Okay, what is r star exactly? R star is a set of all non-zero real numbers. What are real numbers? I hope everyone knows it. What are real numbers? All the numbers which we have studied so far all are all real numbers, excluding the imaginary number only. Otherwise, all of them are real numbers. Okay? Fraction, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, all of them are real numbers. Now, if I write any value over here, if I write 2 over here, what I will get in in this, what will be the image? If the value of x is, if this is x, if the value of x is 2, what I will get f of x as 1 upon 2. Is it a real number? It is a non-zero real number. Yes or no? It is a non-zero real number, right? So so if I put any value over here, if I put any real number, will I get, means whatever answer I will get as per the f of x, I'll get, always I'll get some or the other real number or not. The only problem is if I put 0 over here, okay, then I will get 1 upon 0, which is an infinite number and which is not a real number, right? But they have already told you that r star is a set of all non-zero real numbers, so 0 is not there. So other than 0, if I put any value over here in the set A, so anyhow I will get some element in the set B. Yes or no? And that will also be a non-zero real number. So for every element I will get same element. Also it will be unique. If I write plus 2, I will get plus 1 upon 2. If I write minus 3, what I will get minus 1 upon 3. I will not have two childs of same mother over here. Right? Are you getting it, guys? I will not have two childs of the same mother. That means the given function is 1 1 function. Is that clear? I have told you that the given function is 1 1 function. Please type in the chat box clear. If it is clear, please type in the chat box clear. Okay, Sneha and okay, Nisha and Sneha, very good. Both of you are clear. Fine. So now how to write this thing? Whether the given function is 1 1. What you have to do is let f of x is equals to f of y. Okay, I have told you whether it is a, how we can identify visually whether it is a 1 1 function or not. Right? Now how to write this thing, it is a different method. How to write? See, what you have to do, you have to equate two values. Means I am equating this and this. Okay, actually they both are not equal. I'm just equating two values of the elements in the set B in the codomain. This is called domain, the elements of domain, and these are called elements of codomain. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just equating the elements of the codomain. So f of x is equals to f of y. I'm just saying it. So what I will get if f of x is equals to f of y, right? What I know, f of x equals 1 by x. So I can write 1 by x and f of y will be equal to 1 upon y. And after cross multiplication, y is equals to x. So if I equate the elements in the codomain, what I am getting is the elements in the domain are same. That means for every element in the domain, you will have only one image. There is no other different image. So that's why what you can say, therefore f is 1 1 function. See, this is how you are going to write. Okay, and this is how I have given you the explanation. Is this clear? Please type yes in the chat box. Very good, very good. Now this is what 1 1 we have clear. Now is it an onto function? Now see, now for to to understand whether it is an onto function, what you will do, see, I'll give you with diagram. Okay, and then you have to understand whether, see, for onto function I will do it in the reverse manner. For 1 1 function I have entered elements over here, right? Where if I enter any elements over here, there should be an image, right? But for to check for onto function, what I will do, I'll enter numbers over here and I'll check whether there is a pre-image or not for all the values, right? What is onto function? That all women have a child. There is no woman who does not has child, right? That is what your onto function. So over here, what you have to do, you have to check whether it is an onto function or not. So, and what is r star? The values of elements in A are non-zero real numbers, and the values of the elements in B are also non-zero real numbers. So if I enter any non-zero real number over here, suppose 1 upon 5, it is a non-zero real number. Can I get a pre-image of this? Yes, it will be 5. If I write 1 upon 1.23, what will be the pre-image? 1.23. Simple. So if I write any for any element in the set B, anyhow I will get some pre-image. That means every mother will have one or the other child. Every mother will have one or the other child. That means the given function is onto function. Is this clear? Please type clear. Very good. So that means every woman will have one or the other child, right? If I write any real number over here, I will get a pre-image, right? Now how you will write this statement? Okay, so what you have to do, whatever function they have given, f of x equals 1 upon y, 1 upon x, right? Now to write this, what you have to do, you just have to equate y is equals to, just have to replace f of x is equals to with y, and then get the value of x from this. Therefore you can say let f of x is equals to y. Okay, then y is equals to 1 upon x, then x equals how much? 1 upon y. Now find the value of f of 1 upon y. Okay, now let us find what is the value of f of 1 upon y. See, I have the value of f of x is 1 upon x. So f of 1 upon y will be 1 upon 1 upon y. 1 upon 1 upon y. What I get? F of 1 upon y is also what? Y itself. Right? If I get this, the f of x is equals to y again. Now what was my 1 upon y? I'm getting the same thing. See what I've done, I've put let f of x is equals to y. If y is equals to 1 upon x, then x is equals to 1 upon y. What I will do, I will find the value of f of 1 upon y. If my f of 1 upon y, the value is same again, that is f of x is equals to f of y again, if I get, that means the given function is an onto function. That means for every value of, for all values of x in a real number, I will get some or the other real number. Are you getting it? Over here, if I put x is equals to 1 upon y, 1 upon y is also a non-zero real number. And over here also I am getting a non-zero real number. And once if this both are equal, what I can say, therefore, the given function is 1 1, sorry, is onto function. See guys, what you have to do, see, I know that you have understood this pattern actually very nicely. But this, there is a problem in this. Yes or no? Or you have understood both? You have understood both? Please type both. Okay, very good. Sneha. Okay, only the diagram from Nisha. Okay, fine. So, guys, the problem is the diagram you have understood, but the writing pattern which you have to do whenever you are doing to do the proof, you have to do it in this way. But even if you are getting stuck that how to identify whether it is an onto or not, then you can refer a diagram. Okay, you can refer a diagram. Okay, to get whether it is a 1 1 or onto or what it is. See, I'll explain you again. See, if f of x is equals to 1 upon x, okay, what I have done, f of x is equals to y. If y is equals to 1 upon x, x is equals to 1 upon y. Now over here, 1 upon y belongs to your real number. If 1 upon y belongs to your r star, okay, then after putting it, what I get, f of x is equals to y again. Now if it is y only, then this also, therefore y also belongs to your r star, because if 1 upon y belongs to the r star, then y will also belongs to r star. Therefore we can say f of x is equals to y, and therefore the given function is onto function. Okay, you will understand it once we are doing it even more. Okay, now the next is the result true if the domain r star is replaced by n with codomain being same in r? See, what is the question? I'll take this question, just a moment. Now what they have asked, is the result true if the domain r star is replaced with n? See, again I'll explain you with diagram only, that is a more convenient way to understand. See, if the result true if the domain r star is replaced with n, means I've already told you that this, the elements over here are domain, and this is what, codomain. They, this are what, this is domain and this is codomain. Okay, now what they have said, if the domain r star is replaced by n, means now over here r star is not there. Over here I have written only natural numbers, that is 1 2 3 4 5 up to infinity. Okay, and the elements in the codomain are r star. Okay, they are r star. Now is the result true for this case also? Can I say the given function is 1 1 function? See, for 1 1 function, what I will do, first I will enter the values over here, and that value should be there in this. See, if I write 1, I'll get 1, that is there, it belongs. If I write 2, I'll get 1 upon 2, that is there, because 1 upon 2 comes in r star, right? To check for 1 1 function, what I will do, I will enter elements in over here, over here I will enter. Okay, I should get the image. Will I get the image for all the natural numbers? I'll get the image for all the natural numbers, right? So what we can say, when a belongs to, when um, when A belongs to set A, we can say, if this is A and this is B, if A belongs to A, then 1 upon A will belong to B, because 1 upon A is what, is a real number, is a non-zero real number. Therefore the given function is 1 1. Now the next case, now the same thing. If I write any values over here in the R star, will I get the pre-image? If I write 1.5, okay, if I write 1.5, well, what I will I get the pre-image, and that should be natural numbers. I'll get a natural number or not? See, the relation is 1 upon y. Over here your f of x is what? 1 upon x, and x is this. If f of x is 1 upon 5, what will be the value of x? That will be a natural number? Yes or no? It won't be a natural number. That means for every element in B, if A belongs to B, then the value of that, that is, if I say, I can write it over here. If A belongs to B, then 1 upon A does not belongs to A, right? Since 1 upon A is 1 upon A does not belongs to natural number. Therefore the given function is not onto. Is this clear, guys? Is this clear to you? Okay, very good. So that's it. So over here we are done with the first question. Now let's go ahead. Now the next one. Next one is also very interesting, I'll say. You just have to say whether it is injective or surjective. Okay. What they have given, check the injectivity and surjectivity of the following functions. You just have to check the injectivity as well as surjectivity. What is injective functions? The injective functions are those functions which are one functions, and what is surjective? The functions which are onto functions, right? So you just have to check whether it is a one function or onto function, and then you can say whether it is injective or surjective or whatever. Fine, let us do it. Now as per the first question which you have, okay, so if your set A is, and this is your set B, okay, and this is what your domain and this is what your codomain, okay, and over here if this is x and this your f of x is equals to x square, and over here this is what, natural number, and this is also natural number. Okay, now if x, if I say if a belongs to natural number, then a square, does it belongs to natural number? If a belongs to natural number, does a square belongs to natural number? Yes, it is true. Therefore the given function is, the given function is 1 function. Therefore the given function is 1 function. Very clear, right? Also, now the next, let us, if it is 1 function, you can say the given function is, I'll write injective function because it is given in the question is injective function. 1 and injective both are same. See, it is asked in the question over here, you have to tell whether it is injective or surjective. That's why I have written over here injective. Next, now if the next, if a belongs to, sorry, over here I should be writing not natural number, if a belongs to the set A, right? If a belongs to set A, then a square will belong to set B, then it is a, the given function is an injective function. Now the next, if a square belongs to B, let us say, I'll give you an example. Let us do it with an example. Just a moment. Oh, it got changed. It should be A and this should be B. Fine. Now, if I say any number, let us say if 2 belongs to B, okay, if 2 belongs to your codomain, that is this codomain, 2 belongs to natural number, but under root of 2, see, if f of x is x square, if the value of this is 2, then this will be under root of 2, but under root of 2 does not belongs to your set A, therefore the given function the given function is not onto, not onto function, or you can also say it is not, therefore it is not, you can also say it is not surjective function. Surjective is just an another name for onto function. Is this clear, guys? Please type in the chat box, is this clear? Okay, Nisha, very good. Right, now similarly we'll be doing this rest of the sums also. See, if for the function the z belongs to z, means the relation, the function is from z to z, means from integers to integers given by f of x, okay, these are integers, these are also integers, and if this is x, your f of x equals x square, and this is your set A and this is your set B, okay. So for any value, for any integer, the answer will be an integer. Are you getting it? If A belongs to integers and A belongs to the set A, then A square will belong to set B, where A square is also an integer. A square is also an integer. Therefore, the given function, therefore the given function is what? Injective function. Is this clear, guys? Is this clear? Okay, very good. Now the next, let us check whether it is a surjective function. If I write for any value, any integers over here, how it is 1 1? See, for every value I'll get a single, oh, yes, it is not 1 1. Yes, right, it is not 1 1, guys. Sorry, it is not 1 1. Why? Because I'll give you the reason. Suppose if 2, the if x is equals to 2, yeah, if x is equals to 2, then f of x is equals to how much? 2 square, that is 4. And if x is equals to minus 2, then also f of x is equals to minus 2 whole square, and the answer is 4. Right, then what I'm getting, a single mother has two childs, that means it is not 1 1 function. Therefore it is not an injective function. Is this clear, guys? This is not an injective function because for two childs I'm getting a same mother, that is the 4. See, if I write it in this over here, so if I write minus 2 and over here 2 and over here this 4 is there, 2 will be related to 4 and 2 this 2 is also related to 4 as per the given function. Is this clear, guys? Please type yes or no. Yeah, okay, very good, Sneha. Yeah, so this will have, both will have same mother, that's why it is not a 1 1 function, right? Now whether it is an onto function, for that I will have to reverse it, right? So for any value of integer, will I get any integer? See, if I write f of x is equals to 3, so will I get an integer of under root of 3? No, it is not an integer, right? So what I will do next, if my f of x is equals to 3, then x is equals to what? Root 3, where root 3 does not belongs to an integer. Therefore, the given function, therefore, the given function is not surjective. I hope this is clear. Is not surjective. Fine. So similarly, we can solve the rest of them also. I hope you guys can solve these three questions in your homework. Can you solve, guys, in your homework? Okay, very good. So guys, over here we are done for today and we will continue with this exercise in the next class. Okay? Chalo. Bye bye everyone. Have a good day. Nisha, you have reached. Yes, Nisha, do you want
Yes,
to
yes,
ask anything? Nisha, do you want to ask
Uh,
anything? Yes?
yes, sir. Actually, this is not related to the chapter, but to the curriculum.
Yeah.
Sir, are you going to teach us like the chapter wise, like from first is relations and functions, then inverse trigonometry? Like, are you going to go like the NCRT, or are you going to pick up some chapters from the middle?
Mostly I'll be going as per the sequence of textbook only. Okay, but if there is any request from the student that if you have test in your school or anything like that, then we can shuffle. That's fine. But it is only upon the number of students requirement.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.